What's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B All day. You can't see right now, but behind me is about a 50-foot path through all this jungle out in the backyard, and I'm using my cold steel katana machete to literally just breeze through all this stuff. I mean, the path I'm making is huge, and there's a reason. I need to get to some trees, and I'm going to use those trees that I knocked down to make a teepee. And I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to make a teepee shelter. Something that anybody can use or anybody can make. You don't have to worry about having, you know, buffalo hide or bear hide or deer hide to make it up. I'm just going to show you how to use just the trees, whatever you have around you, to make yourself a shelter. And once I get to the point where all the trees are, then it's going to be a little bit better. So hang with me. We're gonna make us a teepee. All right, so as you can see, I knocked down a few of those guys right there, those tall guys. It's more of a weed than a tree, so don't feel bad. But basically you can see this path I carved out, and it goes, let me see, straight through there. Point at it, straight through there and all the way around. Let's follow it. What I did is I threw my trees over the fence here so I can go on the other side and grab them and pull them through. But you can see with this, I was able to very, very easily carve myself out a path. So you see this right here, watch. It literally just goes right down. So you see all these. Let me see if I'm getting them in there. Right there, watch this. Boom, gone. Makes it very, very easy to have some kind of machete when you're out here. As far as everything else, I'm gonna go cut them up with a camp knife and most likely my Condor moonshiner, and I will show you what we have going. Hold on. All right, guys, so this is phase 2 right here. Cut down as many skinny either trees or branches that you can that have leaves on them. The more leaves the better, because that's going to be your outer walls. You need a bunch of these skinny trees or skinny branches to make this teepee, because the more you have lined up across, the least amount of worry you have for the need of lashing and things like that. This is a teepee as in an emergency shelter, as in I'm stuck somewhere and I need to put something up to keep me free from either the weather or the animals that surround you, and just something that you can build a fire in and keep warm. This isn't like what you see in the cowboy movies where you have, you know, 10 people living in a teepee with this beautiful buffalo skin wrapped around it. No, this is a makeshift shelter, but it's a teepee. So I'm gonna start makeshifting. Hold on a second. All right, so here we go. There is all my wall structure, my leaves. Right here are all my teepee posts. Now I made them about 6 foot 6 inches high each one. Somewhere in there, a little bit bigger on some, a little bit smaller on some. I wanted to give myself enough play to where when I stand them, remember, the more erect you stand them, the less room you have on the inside. So if I want something I can crawl into, but something with a wide base, I'm going to give it a good lean. You know what I mean? Straight up, less room on the inside, lean, less height on the inside. So if you're talking about cold weather especially, less height is good because you want that warmth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting them together, and I will stop and show you as I go through. All right, so to begin, tripod, right? You want 3. And this right here, what I'm doing is I'm setting up my diameter. How far around, how high I want it. Obviously, you can see it's only chest high. That gives me plenty of space to get in, get on the ground, and still have enough ceiling height to lay a little tiny fire in the center and let the smoke go out the top. I'm gonna keep on going. So one very important thing as you're building, remember to set yourself up a door as you're going around. I have this area right here that I'm going to leave as my door. Big enough for me to get through, but small enough to where I can put up something real quick as a little door to keep big predators out. This is going to work very well with this little crossbar here. I'll be able to put some more stuff up there and really patch in around my head. I'll keep going. All right, so far so good. This is the base of my teepee. These are my beams. You can see how much space I have on the inside. Now, the inside height is going to be around 4 feet, somewhere in there. And my diameter, I can go all the way across this thing if I need to. If I'm not putting a fire in the center of this thing, I could literally stretch my body, which is good enough over 6 feet and shy enough of, you know, 6'4" to 6'30". I can stretch my ass all the way across there, and that will be a-okay. Let me start putting on the leaves. All right, so as you can see, my little hut is coming along, right? And right now, this is what keeps me blind from predators. But you need to fill it in a little bit more, obviously, and I'm going to keep on going with that. What I wanted to show you is this. You take sticks and you kind of weave them in there as best you can. And what this does is it holds down all that thatching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bunch of those and I'm going to put them all over the place. And I'm going to try to weave in as best I can. That was probably really loud on you guys. A bunch of sticks on the outside. That's going to help it against wind and, of course, against predators. The more work a predator has to do to get at you, the less fun it is. So, so far, so good. This thing is working. Now, remember, you can always build a floor in the inside if you want. But if this is just for an emergency nighttime thing, so far this has taken me about 20 minutes, somewhere in there, 25 minutes to get this far. That's not too bad at all. So I wouldn't be burning too many calories. I'm not worried about running out of sunlight. Everything is going exactly the way I want. And that is fine for me. So let me finish this guy up here. So here I am inside my shelter. You can see there's the top. Now, if I want, I can keep throwing leaves or pine needles or whatever I want on top of this thing to keep building it. And I can make this thing virtually waterproof just by adding more. But what I wanted to do is just build myself a temporary, you know, hideaway. There's my door that I can literally, let me show you here. There's my feet down there. It's my head up here, and look, I still have a little bit of space back there. I can literally lay in here and be comfortable and be pretty much secure. And literally, the more I can fill these little holes, the more I put on, the more secure I'm going to be, the more weatherproof I'm going to be. Now, if I wanted to light a fire, I have all this space right here. And here, you can see me in here. I mean, I'm in this thing. And if I lit a fire over here, then, or even on the other side and put myself near the door, this would be great. But if I lit a fire closer to the door, then it would help keep predators out. Now, if I was going to do that, what I would do is I would dig in this area here. I would dig out a little hole, and I would put some stones in that hole and put some stones in the bottom of that hole, and I would light my fire in there. Not too deep, but not too shallow. I would make sure that, you know, because you're building a small fire, you don't want the flames to reach up into any of your leaves. So what I would do is I would just trim the inside leaves. But digging a hole would keep the fire low. It would keep the flames from reaching too high. And by putting it on stone, it would radiate. So those stones would warm up, and a smaller fire will bring bigger heat just because it's on stone, obviously. So it's going to it's going to be like an oven. And with a roof like this, I'm not worried about smoke, nothing like that, especially with a small fire. And I would be able to keep myself a nice little tinder bundle over here, and I'd be able to just feed it from inside. Now, if you're talking about emergency shelter and you just are one of those people that don't want to be left out, let me crawl out of this thing. If you don't want to be left out in the in the wilderness, and you just feel better when you have security around you, something like this, very easy to make. It goes up fast and it'll last. Today's not a windy day, but it's breezy, and it'll come in little spurts and bursts. But it's just a very good little hut. It's a good teepee. You see all those reeds over there? I can cut down those and literally just plaster this thing. And here comes a good burst of wind, and just plaster it with all those guys, and even use some to weave. And I could almost do it like a wattle wall on the outside with just those, and that thing will that'll stay up for a long time. But here you have it. It's that simple to make yourself a shelter in an emergency situation. I'll tell you what, that's it. Now, if you're out in the woods and you're going someplace where there's a chance you could get stuck, remember this. There's a few things you should always have with you when you're going into into the woods or into a situation where there's not going to be a lot of people to help you, just in case. Always have a means of making fire, whether it be magnesium rod or a ferro rod, a lighter, some waterproof matches, something that you can light a fire with. Always either bring water or bring a means to get yourself good water. If that means having a metal pot, bring a metal pot. For most people, that's kind of a little over the top for a hike, so put a life straw in your pocket. A life straw will do you wonders. They even have a life straw makes this thing where it's a water bottle filter, and you can fill a water bottle and put the filter in and drink right through it, and it's fantastic. I actually have one. I'll do a review on it one of these days. I'll do a review on the life straw one of these days. And always have some kind of edged weapon, for not just for defense and not just for in case I have to stab my way out of a situation, but you might need to cut down something like this. You might need to get some things cut, you know what I mean? And this is exactly the kind of thing that will keep you alive in the wilderness if you ever get stuck. This thing right here, this little shelter, will give you security. It will give you shade. You know, it provides shelter. It provides a place to be able to stay warm. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't get much more simpler than this. It's easy. And any single one of you can do it. You see how dark it is in there? That's just great. All right, well, that's it. How to make a primitive teepee hut shelter thing with Donnie B All Day. So, as you heard it, I am Donnie B All Day, and until next video.